Well, what took me from maybe to a certainty was actually a show I did with the Ku Klux Klan. And that's why, if I leave you with nothing else, just know this for sure. There is not one thing that has ever happened to you. Not one experience, not one encounter, not one crisis, not one joyful thing that hasn't happened just to make you better and help you rise. Every single thing you're calling in, whether you know it or not, when you figure out that you are calling it in, when you actually start meditating or praying or doing or having a spiritual practice, which is the number one thing you need if you want to be successful in the world. You need something that gives back and nourishes you, regardless of what you call that. You need to fill your cup so that you can be so full, your cup runneth over and you have enough to give to other people. If you don't fill your cup, you end up dried up. You end up tired, exhausted, and don't have enough to give to other people. You end up resentful every time somebody asks you because your cup is empty and now they want some of yours. So your number one job is to fill your cup and make yourself whole. That's your job. So it went from calling to, I was happy to be on TV. I've been on TV since I was 19. I met my best friend Gail in Baltimore. I knew that wasn't my calling, being a television reporter. I hated it. She loves it. I hated it. I always felt out of alignment with myself. But my father was like, girl, don't give up that job. You making $25,000 a year, you 25? Don't give up that job. So I had those voices, but every day, I wouldn't say agony. I was trying to find how can I be myself, be real on the air. And I always felt like I was pretending and that I was out of alignment. And then when they got ready to fire me, they were gonna fire me, but they didn't want to release me from the contract. So they thought, well, let's just pay her out and we can get her to do this talk show thing. So they literally put me on the talk show to get me out of the way. And the very first day, I sat on there interviewing the Carvel ice cream man about his multiple flavors, and Benny from All My Children. Remember, Benny used to be on All My Children. Those were my two first guests, and doing Dialing for Dollars in between. I knew that I had come home to myself. I could not predict that it would turn into what it has, but I knew that I could finally breathe and I was no longer pretending to restrict my feelings, because I'd go out on stories and I would empathize with people. I'd feel bad for them and that would show up in the work, and then I would, get a little slip from my boss because I had a really aggressive, bad boss. So I started to feel then, this is the job that I want, but I didn't know about calling. I was interviewing a woman on one of the shows. It was so impressive for me to see all the shows that we've done. Lord, it made me tired looking at it. But I was interviewing a woman. It was a show called The Wives Meet the Mistresses or some crazy thing. And this woman was on, and it was a live show, and in the middle of it, her husband tells the wife and our entire audience and the world that his mistress was pregnant. Yes, to this day it makes my eyes water because I saw his wife's face and I felt her humiliation. And I said, I will quit TV if I have to do this. I won't do this anymore. And my producer's like, what are we gonna do? This is what everybody's doing. And then during that same time period, so I said, I'm not gonna do anything like that anymore. I'm not gonna bring people on TV. First of all, we didn't know that moment was gonna happen. They were like, we didn't know it was gonna happen. But that should not happen on television. And I do not want to be a part of the energy that caused somebody to feel that, because that's now gonna come back to me. I gotta pay for that. Then I was interviewing the KKK on stage. That was the day the one guy called me a monkey in the audience. And during commercial break, I could see them signaling each other. And just watching them and their behavior, I thought, they get it, I don't get it. They are using me, they are using this platform because they understand, because I'm thinking, I'm gonna tell you all about the KKK. They were using it to recruit members for themselves. They were using it to recruit their base. And I then went to the producers and said, we're not doing a show like that. So they said, you're not gonna do the mistresses, you're not gonna do the KKK. What are we gonna do? So I said, we are going to create a baseline for ourselves that's based on intention. This was around 1989 when I'd read Gary Zukav's book called The Seat of the Soul. And that book was life-changing for me because in it he talked about the power of intention, and that cause and effect, what goes out comes back, is determined by your intention. The energy of your intention is what determines your life. Most people don't think about their intention. They just think about what they want to do. Most people don't think about why they want to do it. But what's going to come back to you, the energy that's going to come back to you, is the real why of why you did it. And so I then said to my producers, we're not going to do any shows that are not intentional. So don't bring me an idea unless you have an intention for the show that you want the outcome to be. And we're going to strive to see if we can live up to our intentions. And so around the late 80s, we started a pre-show to talk about what the intention was, and then a post-show after every single show to say, did we fulfill that intention? And that's about the time I realized this is bigger than me. And my journal prayers, if you were to look at my journal over the years, is that I started to recognize that it wasn't just a show. And the KKK helped me to see that. It wasn't a show. It was a platform to be used as a mission. Just like they were recruiting their base, I could recruit mine. And I was going to recruit for good. So I said to the producers, we're going to be a force for good. We're going to use this to inspire, your question. And we're going to use this to uplift wherever we can. And we're going to use it to inspire, uplift, encourage, and entertain. And so your show ideas have to include some little bit of all of that. Right, did it inspire somebody? Did it uplift somebody? Did it encourage somebody? And did you also do that in a way that was entertaining? And you will know it's your calling when you would do it for nothing. You will know that you will know that you're in alignment, because the flow is so, we worked, our team worked 14, 18-hour days every single day. And then we'd take 3 months off and then come back and try to do better. We were our own competition. What do I have to offer? What do I have to give? How can I be used in service? Because Dr. King's message of not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. And there is not a job in here that you can do that you don't switch the paradigm to service and not make that job more fulfilling. I don't care what the job is. If you say, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm an artist, I'm a teacher, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm a janitor, I'm a clerk, if you say, if I look at this from, how do I use this in service to something bigger than myself? No longer becomes a job. It becomes an offering to the world. And that is why you're here. And when you can line up with whatever that is, line up with that. And all you have to do is keep asking the question. And ask the question in purity, not in, when's it gonna come? I'm not looking for a man, but is that him over there? I played that game. When you can do that, then it comes, it opens up. Don't you see the difference between the days you meditate and you don't? Try to do it every day, because if you don't, it's usually a more messed up day. Doesn't mean you don't get through life, because a lot of people getting through life. It just means your life isn't as enhanced. And everybody who's afraid of meditation, don't even call it meditation.